Welcome to episode 7 of 100 Years of Marine Corps Tankers, a station dedicated to honoring the legacy of Marine tankers and remembering the stories of what made the community special, told through the words of those Marines that towed the line. Today, I am joined by somebody who has been influential in my own life and somebody that I worked with on numerous occasions and somebody I'd like to call a friend. So Master Sergeant Rehan Chamugan, otherwise known as Chewy, welcome to the channel, and it's my honor to have you, brother.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having this. I really appreciate what you're doing for the community. When you first told me about it, I thought it was fucking awesome. Am I allowed to cuss?
Absolutely.
Okay. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a fantastic idea, and I'm glad that you're still doing it.
Thanks, man. That means a lot. Thank you. And to all the viewers out there, you guys, I really appreciate all the support. I got a lot of people messaging me and telling me good things. You know, it's not about me. It's about the interviews. It's about the people like Chewy we got on the line that they're taking the time out of their busy schedule to go ahead and make time for this channel and get this message out. So my thanks to you, brother, and thanks to the viewers. So, all right, let's start this off. This interview is going to be a little bit different than what I've done in the past. Normally it was just questions, but you were gracious enough to send me your bio. And truthfully, it's like the most impressive bio I've ever seen of a Marine, let alone a Marine tanker. So rather than sit here for 2 minutes while I go through your bio, what we're going to do is we're going to break it down and talk about your bio and kind of have you tell some stories in between. So
sounds good.
Let's start back in 1999. So there's Rehan Chamugan, 1999, Rancho Bernardo High School. What made you want to become a Marine?
So that's I guess that's a loaded question. My stepdad, who is probably my most influential person in my life, he was a Marine, retired a Master Sergeant in 95. And he was just a beast. He got diagnosed with cancer, passed away, but through it all, he was just like 100% a fighter. Definitely, someone I looked up to, like the most highly person I looked up to. And, he's definitely the reason why I joined the Marine Corps. I wanted to be just like him.
That's awesome, man. And you are. I mean, look at you, Master Sergeant, carrying the same rank as your dad. I mean, that's amazing. Obviously sorry for his loss, but he certainly produced a hell of a Marine, hell of a product, hell of a son here. So hats off to him.
Thank you.
So in 1999, graduated boot camp from MCRD San Diego, West Coast. You guys wear the sunglasses and go out to the beach instead of dealing with sand fleas, excuse me. So 2000, you went to Marine Armor Crewman Course, aka known as Tank School. And then let me ask you a question here. So what were your initial impressions of being a Marine tanker?
I think something I can remember to this day is me walking into the maintenance bay at Fort Knox and seeing an Abrams up close, and like a shiver. I still just now shivered from seeing that beast, and I was like, this is my life. This is going to be fucking awesome. And I will never forget that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and it shows, man. It shows in everything you do. I mean, I know how much you love tanks. Obviously, we share that in common, and yeah, it's a driving factor and one that certainly is very powerful, and hoorah to that. So 2005, went out to deployed with 4th Tank Battalion in support of OIF as a provincial infantry company. You were a squad leader out there.
Yep.
Let me phrase this a couple different ways. So who when you think of that deployment in particular, so who were some of the Marines that helped influence and shape your career? Because obviously that deployment had some impact.
So from that time frame, prior to that deployment, I had two people that have influenced my career. One who I continued to serve with after when I got to 1st Tank Battalion. One of them was my platoon sergeant prior to that deployment, Michael Heberger, master gunner. He was in the reserves, but just like he was just probably one of the most proficient tankers I've ever met in my life. Just an awesome dude, cared about the Marines. I tried to emulate his leadership style almost to the T. And then someone you probably know, Jay Carosha.
Yep.
I call him, I tell everyone I know that's my tank dad.
A lot of people's.
Yeah, he influenced me from Lance Corporal all the way to, he was my tank leader, my second deployment. Just an awesome dude. I still talk to him. Hung out with him the other day, had a beer. Just an amazing dude. Fucking awesome guy.
Yeah, I got to get him on this channel too. So next time you talk to him, tell him you did it. Now it's his turn. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. So you mentioned that second deployment. That was from 2006 to 2007. Deployment to OIF with First Tank Battalion as a section leader.
Yep.
What are some of the images that come to mind when you think about this combat tour?
First of all, it was good to be on a tank by, my previous deployment where I was a squad leader, running around on foot. Good to be on a tank. We were mostly sectioned up the whole time. I was with Rick Layton, operating everywhere from Al Assad all the way up to Haditha, down into a little town called Dulab, where we saw a decent amount of action. I just remember just being in a section with him, again, just operating out of for the most part, operating out of just a squad size combat outpost. It was cool to be on our own, but it was a little hectic sometimes, a little scary because we had no support. Next fob over was could only provide like a platoon more of infantry, and it was good times.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, for the tankers that are listening, obviously we know what that means to be alone and afraid, especially in an environment like that. So hats off to you. And as a section leader, obviously you are the man. You are the person that's responsible for keeping those pigs up and keeping them going. And yeah, absolutely. So you already mentioned how it was previous from your previous deployment. How was it different from the subsequent combat tours?
As ROE's changed. OIF, or in 2005, it was, you're
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna rub you here. ROEs is rules of engagement.
Yeah. Okay.
Channel rules, man. Channel rules.
Yeah. So 2005 ROE rules of engagement were different than 2006, 2007. We had to have. It went from all right, I can shoot that dude to I gotta get call it in. Somebody else has to call it in. It was good though being on a tank. We spent most of the time operating with an infantry company, supporting them through operations throughout Dulab, escorting convoys from Al Assad up to Haditha. I got called the crazy tanker just because of my escapades going up and down. I'm not sure if you saw the picture with the MILF Hunter. That was my tank crew. That was my tank name. We got to keep that on there for a little bit until the regiment saw I had that on there, and then got to take it off. But yeah, the convoys loved us. They appreciated the security we provided them. But it was a good deployment. Started off very rough. We lost. We didn't lose. They got medevaced out, but a whole gun truck crew that was behind me hit IED on River Road. Probably meant for either me or Layton, but they got the truck crew. And I remember talking to now Lieutenant Colonel Ashenhurst, who was platoon commander at the time, and he said he walked into that crater hole and it was above his head. So that was a rough way to start the deployment. It got a little bit better, but it was definitely a good deployment with some really good dudes.
Over to that. So going on with your bio, you got like 3 instructor tours back to back to back, which is insane. So 2006, urban assault instructor. 2006, also you were the mount instructor, which is certainly a hard school by itself. And then 2006, the MOX instructor. So let's break those down and kind of talk about the whiffing behind it and kind of why you were sent and what each one of those schools meant.
So Croatia actually sent me. He took my because that was we did that course, those instructor courses right before our 2006 deployment. Actually, I went with Jack Ramson, who's another awesome tanker. But he knew that going into an urban environment, it was kinetic, especially from his 2005 deployment. He wanted to take my experiences on foot, combine them with those instructor courses, and then help build a company up to be a well-rounded company, to be able to operate in an urban environment, and then to be able to operate if we were ever dismounted. Once we completed those courses, I ended up coming back to Tank Battalion, and I didn't realize at the time that I was the only mount instructor, and MOX, which is mission-oriented combat shooting, was a precursor to the combat marksmanship program that we use now. So me and Jack Ramson ended up running probably 3/4 of the battalion through mount packages and combat shooting packages. Kept us in the field quite a bit, but it was just awesome as a young sergeant being able to, teach staff and COs, officers, junior enlisted Marines, like fundamentals of operating in an urban environment and then operating in a combat shooting environment.
Yeah, man. I mean, the combination of those classes with being a tanker just set you up for so much success. I mean, I remember our conversations back at Alpha Company, talking about tank infantry integration and things like that, and just your perspective for having been on the ground and having gone through those schools, and then being able to translate that to what tanks bring to the fight was just phenomenal. I mean, it's just
absolutely.
You had an absolute understanding of both sides of that coin, which just made you just that much better. Speaking of that, obviously 2008 in support of OIF in Iraq with 1st Tank Battalion as a platoon section leader. So now you have all that training. You have a couple of combat deployments under your belt. What did this combat deployment mean to you?
So, as you said, all that stuff actually helped us out a lot. By that time, Iraq was starting to slow down a little bit. They ended up, the company, when we got to Iraq, we ended up going all over the place, kind of like, putting out fires all over, multiple different operations, large scale operations. But what it did for us for our pre-deployment, with all that training, it just allowed me to build a better combat SOP within the platoon, to be able to handle multiple different types of scenarios. And I just felt more prepared going into that 3rd deployment than I did the 2nd deployment, just because of experience, the courses I went to, and then just the guys around me.
No, I appreciate that answer, and that goes back to some of the previous interviews that I've had. Some of the things we're trying to bring out as far as what is a Marine tanker, and what makes that Marine tanker different than say an Army tanker, and just that alone. That is a succinct explanation of what makes, a Marine tanker, especially you in particular, who you are. And that support that you're able to give the infantry as a direct support element is just phenomenal. And it's something that the Army's going to have to figure out. I mean, if we go in a mountain environment and we have a joint operation there with Army tanks, they're going to have to figure out, because the infantry is going to need it. I mean, that's a fact. So, all right. So you got out of tanks for a little bit. 2009 went to recruiter school. I think that's probably why you're such a personable person and you sell ice to an Eskimo. So let's kind of kick it here for a minute and say, how did the skills you learned as a recruiter come to benefit you?
So it definitely gave me a perspective on an individual. So twofold. One, coming up as a sergeant in the tank community, you are expected to kind of behave a certain way, which I did, not because I was told to, just because it just felt comfortable for me. Right. However, that doesn't bode well with many different types of personalities. So an example is, if you're a hard ass and you're yelling at somebody, for example, my driver in 2008 deployment, like, he just shuts down. That's the type of dude he was, his background, that's the way he was. So being on recruiting duty gave me the ability, or however you want to call it, to be able to mold or persuade someone to do something without, going down and beating the shit out of them or something like that. Mm-hmm. Everyone's different, and that's something that recruiting duty opened my eyes up to. And then second is dealing with a younger generation. So, and that has helped me immensely, coming back to the fleet multiple times, and then also dealing with the SMCR. Not saying that they're less or anything, but they're more, some of them are way more smarter than our community counterparts. They have multiple jobs, they have degrees, and just being able to translate that, it helped me train them better, understanding them, understanding the younger generation. I don't know, it just helped me a lot, being able to communicate better with different generations. No,
that's fair. I mean, I saw that firsthand, when when I'd go off the chain and at Alpha Company and you'd reel me in and be like, hey man, you can't be doing that. Like check it out. Like this is what he's dealing with. And I mean, I learned a lot about, just how different folks work through you. I mean, you were really that step and CO, that right-hand man that I needed, that, just was always, whispering in my ear and just, all words of goodness.
We were balanced. That's how a team should be.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I absolutely appreciated every second of that, and didn't realize what I had until afterwards. But yeah, so thank you for that. 2009, 2011, you served as the canvassing recruiter, and then you were also the staff and COIC for the same district. So obviously, very illustrious recruiting career. You made a lot of Marines. That's important. You directly impacted the future of the Marine Corps from that time, all the way through, 20, 30 years. I mean, you may have recruited the next commandant. You don't even know. So 2010 staff and COIC course, once again, going back to school. And then 2012, also staff and CO career course. And then 2012, 13, went back to first tanks platoon section leader. And then 2014 Master Gunner School. Obviously, you are a Master Gunner, one that I respect immensely, one that I obviously call to if I got Master Gunner questions, and that paid dividends, especially running the range. Hey, by the way, let's talk a second about old 420 at Camp Pendleton. That was the right range, right?
Oh, 49 Alpha.
Oh yeah.
The tank range.
Yeah. Yeah, they finally got it up and running, huh? Only to lose it a year later. That sucks.
Kind of up and running.
All right, so 2015-16, this is when our paths crossed, and you and I worked hand in hand, right hand, left hand. You were the ops chief for Company Alpha. I was the I&I, and obviously we had a SMCR Marine on here. Plus, we're gonna have a couple coming up, but that was a very interesting time for us. And what memories do you have? I kind of know where I went, but what memories do you have with that?
So that was I think that was a special tour for me, because I started out as a reservist in Alpha Company, 4th Tank Battalion, and then to come back as the I&I company ops chief was just full circle, and it was just awesome. I remember, Jake Rocha was my I&I tank leader, and Timmy Tompkins was also one, and to be able to advise, teach, and assist Marines the way they did to me, I think was the biggest takeaway for that I took away out of that tour, and like it was just awesome. I didn't get to be on a tank, however, being able to teach those young men that don't get a lot of time in their profession, how to be lethal, how to be proficient, what to take away from our classes and our training. It was just awesome for me, and I loved every minute of it. I wish I could have stayed there in the company. Unfortunately, I got pulled away, but that was definitely a great time. It was great having you as an I&I. Nice. Kind of let me do whatever I wanted. Sometimes maybe you shouldn't have, but I appreciated it. I definitely learned a lot, and we had a fantastic team. Fantasy football was part of it.
Hell yeah.
And then just playing football after work, play hard, work hard, play hard. That was our thing, and we definitely busted our ass. And like I said, it was just a fantastic team and a great time.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible. Some of the Alpha guys came out to our ball here last year when I was still at Benning, and they spoke of you in particular, and the times that we had, and the love and the dedication that you had for those Marines. I mean, you all the way along, and I think that's why you're so successful, because to you, this is not a job. This is not a job. This is a passion. This is a career. This is a calling. And I never knew that about your father, but obviously now I kind of have an understanding. It gives me a little bit of perspective that, you are doing this as a calling, as a true calling, and it shows. And your dedication to those Marines and the attention that you showed those guys was just phenomenal. I mean, you poured your heart out, and believe me, you may not have known how much they appreciated it, but you go forward, almost 3-4 years, those guys are still talking about you. So you had an impact, man. Let me tell you. So 2016 to 19, as the BMG for 4 tanks, you were the man. You were the master gunner. You know, we talked about master gunners already, but I'll just give a quick blurb. You know, you are the subject matter expert for everything that involves tanks. We don't have warrant officers in tanks. We didn't have warrant officers in tanks. So the master gunner is essentially that person, that organic subject matter expert for everything that involves a tank. As the battalion master gunner, you are the head dog out of all the companies, and you know what? You remain humble. I will say that, having worked with a lot of BMGs, you know, you press the button when you needed to, but when you didn't need to, you kind of let things roll, and I think that really bode well for the changes that we're having with 4th Tank Battalion. So what experience or memories do you have of that?
So that was actually, it was awesome. Again, another great team. You know, the battalion got asked to do quite a bit during that time frame. We did multiple NATO exercises in Europe. Korea, we supported a couple times. Ended up supporting, for the first time, supporting 3MEF in Thailand. That was awesome. Alpha Company actually got to do that one. Oh yeah. So as you mentioned, the tank battalion, we were given a lot of opportunities to showcase what the tank community can bring to the whole Marine concept. You know, we hadn't been kinetic in a while. I mean, at this time, you know, last tanks left Afghanistan in 2014. So I feel that there's always a loss of education, you know, that comes with not seeing us. And you know, we did multiple. We were afforded the opportunity to do multiple exercises in Europe.
And those were NATO operations, right?
Yeah, all NATO operations with MAR4 URAF, the Army Command, and then like 30, 40 different nations for some of them. First tank company.
Saber Strike was awesome, man.
Like, yeah, Saber Strike. Saber Strike was good times. Latvia was good times.
Hell yeah, it was Riga, baby.
And then, you know, we did it Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, all those Baltic states, Poland, you know, multiple, and then Republic of Georgia for Agile Spirit. And then in Finland, we were the first tank company to go operate in Finland, Marine or Army for that I was striking. Great opportunities there. Helped out in Korea multiple times with exercises for KMAP. And then we were the first tank unit to operate in Thailand for exercise Cobra Gold in any recent memory. Over 20 years, no one had remembered tanks coming there. So it was a great opportunity for the Marines, great opportunity for us. And to me, the most important thing was being able to showcase to the Marine Corps what a tank platoon can bring to the fight. And it was definitely going through multiple planning conferences, talking to senior level Marines, senior level NATO military people. Like, this is a Marine tank platoon. This is what we can do, and it definitely opened a lot of eyes. I you know, taking that recruiting skill, ABC, always be closing, and that helped a lot. And I feel that, you know, at the time, you know, we heard, you know, different rumors. Tanks are going away. Tanks are getting smaller. Tanks can be combined with LAR, and being able to showcase to them what we can bring to the fight definitely was super important to me on that front. And then, you know, stateside, being able to influence that many tankers, being able to help mentor and train 6 different tank companies, 6 different master gunners, 6 different training chiefs was just awesome. And then having, you know, my battalion and I, Lieutenant Colonel Youngblood, and our master guns, Castillo, there, who, you know, Castillo was a little bit, you know, let me, wait, I don't know if I want to let you do all this stuff, to, hey, it's your show now. And once I proved to Lieutenant Colonel Youngblood that I could do this, he just let me loose. And it was awesome working for a leader like that, who trusts me and who relies on me to, you know, help them get that battalion to become that proficient. And then the culminating event for us was the battalion level exercise that we did in 29 Palms, you know, moving up through 2 corridors. It was a lot of work setting that up, but man, the end result was awesome. You know, 2 tank companies, we had Purple Air, mortars, already, you know, all kinds of stuff. It was just phenomenal to see them in action.
Yeah, I mean, I I I was involved in a lot of that. I was able to kind of see your progression, and from the time that I knew you as a staff sergeant all the way through 2019 when you wrapped up your tour as the BMG. I mean, the progression and just it was phenomenal. I mean, as a staff sergeant, you were always fighting above your pay grade, and you still are. But just what you personally was involved in and helped lead. Obviously, the Marines are behind you. Obviously there's an entire battalion worth of Marines behind you, and I'm not for a second taking that from those guys. But personally, for you, having witnessed it firsthand from 2016 to 19, I mean, that's a 3-year period. And you did some incredible operations. And for the Marines that are watching this, we all know kind of what an operation means. I mean, hell, you move a unit across the street, you have to have 15 briefs for it. To go around the world, especially in areas that have never seen tanks before. I mean, period. Army, Marine Corps, whatever. And just the planning of getting the tanks there and figuring out where they're going to come from and how they're going to support. I mean, it's just phenomenal. I mean, just the work you did in that period of time is just commendable. And I would be hard pressed to see any other Marine tanker that can kind of throw those kind of statistics up. I know you're humble. I know you won't agree to it, but let me just tell you, it was a phenomenal thing to watch, and my hat is absolutely off to you, man.
Thank you. I again, like going from that, and then I got to work with a lot of logistical operation and logistics planners, and I definitely took a lot away from that, and that has definitely helped me out a lot in my career, especially coming over and being a tank leader. It almost working with those dudes and like picking up tricks in the trade. It almost makes tank logistics easy. Some of the things that they showed me how to do. So I'm very appreciative of my time there.
So let's go back to your bio for a second. So 2018, ground combat operations specialist, went back to school to learn an entire new set of skills. 2019, Master Sergeant course where you obviously learned how to be a Master Sergeant. And then from 2019 until present, you're serving as the 1st Tank Battalion tank leader. So a lot of time spent out in 29 Palms, a lot of time spent out in California, and this channel obviously has a reason. It has a message behind it. It's the divestment of armor. And for those of us that have dedicated our lives to this community, it's a very tough year, and it's going to continue to be tough. And watching the videos on Facebook and the postings that you personally have put up there, the battalion ceremonies, and watching those tanks get on the trains and the railhead. I mean, I've already said it before, and I'll say it again. It's like a damn funeral. It really is. It's like a funeral. It's like somebody that we have loved has passed, and that passing is our community, and it's tough. So being in that seat, you obviously are the person that that they're relying on. You got an entire company of Marines behind you that look to you. Like we'd said before, officers think Big Blue Arrow. You're down with the Marines. You're dealing with those Marines, and a lot of times those Marines are your Marines. So, what was the hardest part about seeing the divestment of armor from your seat?
So, couple things. One, as you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's like losing a loved one. Definitely watching that last tank get on the low boy and drive off. I definitely, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely had a tear in my eye. I definitely had to go off by myself for a little bit. It was a mixture emotion of sadness, anger, just a whole whirlwind of emotions. That was one of the big things. And then, coming to work to the ramp every day and seeing just an empty 1st Tank Battalion ramp, that's just demoralizing. For the Marines, we had just come out of ITX. They had expanded ITX to include, which is integrated training exercise, to include MWX. I think it's MAGTF warfighting exercise, which is a premier force on force. And seeing our company perform there, like the Marines got so many accolades from 5th Marine Regiment colonel all the way down to the CLRs, the wing, just all kinds of accolades on how awesome the tank company performed, how the Marines did, and then they come straight out of that, and then a month or two later, we get the message that we're going away. And it's like the look on the Marines' faces was just like, are you effing kidding me? Like, did you just not see what we brought to the fight, what we did for the last 2 months at ITX? So that was painful, to see that. Definitely, you could tell the emotions of a young Marine, like what the fuck, dude, you know. So that's been kind of hard. We've been trying to keep the arrow straight. I think we've been able to keep them on track by better preparing them for the future, because they all have a future, whether they're getting out or lab moving or doing a inter-service transfer. One of the things that we have done is break down common planning guidance, what the future fight is going to look like, because a lot of these dudes are going to go someplace and they need to understand why they're doing what they're doing. They kind of understand, they kind of understand the armor piece, but there's going to be a bigger fight. It's going to be a different fight. So we've sat down and with them. We've had them talk to one of the communities that's going to be growing, which is LAD. But we try to break down what the next fight's going to look like. So that's helped a little bit. Trying to get them to as many schools as possible. I think I sent like 19 people to combat marksmanship course. Just trying to get them to be a well-rounded product. We're running fire team training with them, squad level training, some basic Marine stuff, land nav, convoy trainer, counter IED stuff. Trying to build a better package to give to the community, to give to the Marine Corps once they depart tank battalion. But I can't be more proud of this company. Like it's surprising and amazing how well or how high their morale has been considering the situation that they're in, and how they perform. Like we always joke about Marines, complaining about everything, but these dudes are, all right, hey dude, hey guys, we're doing fucking mount training. We're gonna do some mount stuff. We're gonna do some counter ID stuff. Hey, brother at top, let's go. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, it's totally unexpected. But it's just an awesome feeling that knowing that there are Marines like this in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And it's sad that I won't get to work with them, going into the future, but a lot of awesome dudes in our company.
So I'm gonna change the gears a little bit here. You don't normally ask how the Marines are holding up, but you already asked that question. So let me ask you, how are you holding up?
It's rough. It's semi-rough, I guess. Like I said, going to the tank ramp every day, it's like demoralizing. Not gonna lie. I did it for my boys, but I brought the boys to the tank ramp. I threw them on a tank. I don't care who knows, but we drove around the tank ramp. I wanted them to know what I've done.
Right.
And they're young, 3 and 4, but they loved it. The 3-year-old always asks, "Hey, Daddy, when are we gonna go to work to get on the tank?" I'm like, "Fuck, can't do that anymore." But it was, I did one last ride. We went out in the training area. 4 of us came back. That was sad. And then I got to drive it back, park it, and I definitely just sat in the driver's hole and I definitely cried. I was like, "This is it." You know what I mean? So it's been rough. Something that has helped me though. I'm a person alluded to it. I have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And simultaneous with us going away, we lost our first sergeant of CO. So I was filling a lot of billets, and it kept my mind busy. It's keeping my mind busy. So while the Marines may not be very busy, I'm keeping myself busy, trying to get these Marines where they want to go, trying to get these packages turned in, learning how to be a first sergeant. But it's keeping me busy. It's keeping me grounded, and I'm able to, I'm still able to perform 100%. I can't give enough credit to my wife, who's just been phenomenal and supporting me 100%. So it's all around, my friends, they understand. Former tankers understand. I've had a lot of people reach out to me like, "Hey, dude, you all right? Everything good?" I've had the pleasure and the honor of sitting down with a couple awesome tankers. Master Sergeant Brandon Rogers, Chad Henninger. We sat around, Ricky Hernandez, just sit down and, drink a cold one or many cold ones, sit down and talk about the good times. And it definitely helps, talking about things. having someone there, having a couple people there that are going through the same thing you're going through, uh, and are in the same exact boat that you're in, feel the exact same way. It's great to just be able to, bounce things back and forth and talk and bullshit and just, have a couple drinks and just, be you. It's that has helped me a lot, probably a lot more than they realize. I don't, hopefully it's helped them too. But definitely, that's something that I'm gonna keep doing with as many people as I can, while I'm here. So.
No, man, I appreciate that answer. And obviously your wife is an amazing wife, but as well as being an awesome tanker, you are an awesome dad. And I've witnessed that firsthand. And your boys are very fortunate to have you. And I'll tell you what, one of the images when I think of tanks, and it might be a little bit creepy, but I don't mean it to be. One of the images when I think of tanks and what it means to me is the picture of you and your son with the TC handle and
Yes.
and your boy holding it with your hand right there. I mean, that is a very powerful image, and one that it certainly speaks of who you are and what tanks mean to you. And your boys are going to know about tanks. There's no questions. And that's why we're doing this. We're doing this to get it out in another world, and maybe someday to watch this video and kind of get an idea of who you are and everything you've done up to this point, which is just phenomenal. For me, Chewy's Chewy. And my wife knows that if I'm having a bad day and I need someone to just vent on, just someone to just call and just, you're it, brother. And you'll be it for a long time. I mean, our time at Alpha Company, our time at Riga, it did a lot. And I respect you personally. I respect you, professionally, tactily. Like I will follow you to the gates of hell, man. And if we get an opportunity to work again together, it would be fantastic because you are somebody that I trust wholeheartedly. I mean, I trust a lot of Marines, but you and I have that relationship that is just transcends, the normal step and seal officer. I mean, it's a true blood brotherhood. I mean, it's unreal. So, thank you for taking the time today. I know it means a lot. And it's been my honor, brother. So we're going to close here with what parting comments do you have for our viewers?
First, I'm going to replicate what you said to me to you. You've been awesome. You've been one of my mentors. You've been phenomenal. Probably one of the most proficient officers I've ever worked with my entire life. Just fucking on it all the time. You're just 110% like all the time, especially at Alpha Company at 4th Tank Battalion. Always wanted to help train the Marines, and it was just great working with you. And
thank you.
Mutual feeling. I'd definitely follow you to the gates of hell and back. I wish we could be able to, CO Tank Company, Tank Leader Tank Company. I think that would be a fucking awesome duo. Unfortunately, that won't happen, but it would be awesome. What I would say to the community, keep your head up. I understand we're pissed off. I understand the feeling of anger, disappointment, of giving 5, 10, 15, 20 years, blood, sweat, and tears of the community to the Corps. But we got to keep our head up. There's no way about it. Help our Marines move on, whether they're getting out, help them be successful. Whether they go to another MOS, help them be successful. If they're going someplace else, help them be successful. And I think that's the only thing we can do right now is, and I hate to say it, fuck the Marine Corps, but fuck the Marine Corps. There's dudes that we got to take care of, dudes that have they're getting screwed, that are getting the city in the stick, and it should be an obligation for us to do the best we can to help these dudes out to be successful wherever they go. And that's my primary focus. I hope my peers, that's theirs. And I've seen it from everybody that, we're all trying to do the best we can to help these dudes out, and it's fucking awesome. And just going out the right way. You know what I mean? Not being stupid about it. I don't know how to explain it, but like just going out the right way with our heads held up high.
I think Forms kind of summed it up well. And I understand what you're saying. I mean, we got to look out for the Marines. Obviously, we love the Marine Corps. There's no doubt. Yeah. But you can love somebody and be very angry at the same time. I mean, it's kind of like what's going on right now. Ultimately, we all love the Marine Corps, but the decision right now is a tough one to follow and tough one to handle. And I think when Forms said, "Don't go dark," I think that's probably a very good encapsulation of everything you're saying there is, yeah, you can be angry. You can deal with it in your own way. This channel is a way that I'm dealing with it personally. I didn't certainly intend it that way, but I'll tell you, having these interviews and having the opportunity to kind of talk about it and get it out there is helping me personally. But I think when Form said, "Don't go dark," I think that's probably a good message.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So we'll try to end on a happy note here. So yeah, it's been a pleasure. And obviously I appreciate your time and love your family to death. You know that. And take care of the boys out in First Tanks, and take care of yourself. If you need something, you can always call me, and I appreciate your time, brother.
Absolutely. Hope to see you in the future.
All right, hold on. I got to close it out. So for those who've been watching, thank you for watching the episode 7 with Chewy. And please contact me if you want to do an interview. I know I got some folks that are doing so. So any way you want, either through Facebook, through email, military, civilian, doesn't matter. Please subscribe. We did reach over 100 subscribers, so we are an official channel as far as YouTube is concerned. So thank you, and thank you for all the interviewees up to this point. It's been awesome. Lucky number 7 though is Chewy, so this is a good one. Hit the bell, subscribe, and notifications. And with that, I'm closing out. Hoorah, brother.
Semper Tanks.
Semper Tanks, my friend.